Hello and welcome to the corner. I'm the Frost Glass and I'm joined by my fellow Albus Savages. I like boobs.
Why are the birds eating my damn blueberries?
Yes, we've determined that Jack is in fact like 70 years old.
Yes.
Like old man yells at birds.
Yes.
Filling in for Moonshock, we have Johnny Hellcat.
There will be no Tron Legacy references today.
That's what you think.
Except for that one.
Except for that one.
Yeah. Pterodiomatus.
Hello.
And this week's special guest, Scribe.
Good evening, everyone.
So, how are you guys doing?
Usual.
Usual regret.
Dude.
Just wondering where I went wrong in life, you know?
Well, it all started when you said yes to Frosted Glass.
All I know is I ran so far away. I just can't get away.
Afghanistan even further.
Alright. Well, I'm sorry to inform you, Scribe, but your life is in danger.
Oh, dear.
I know. I have an impeding death hanging over me.
Because our first article, first they came for the English majors.
Oh, no. Well, that's me. Guess I'm out, guys. Night-night.
Yeah, I've been saving up articles for you, Scribe.
Oh, thank you for thinking of me.
Well, I mean, some you come across and it's like, oh, that's perfect for this person.
Yes. But also, Johnny, you're on Moonshock duty, so chat will demand that you find a picture of Carl and Beckia and put it in chat.
I am already on it.
Okay, good.
All right, let's see. Inside Trump's plan to defund the liberal arts, privatize education, and silence the disciplines that teach us to think.
Okay.
Donald Trump once said, "I love the poorly educated." He meant it as a compliment, or a kink. Hard to tell with such a self-described stable genius. But it wasn't just a throwaway line, it was a blueprint. As always, Trump is up to his old division tricks. He's
Well, you don't need tricks, you just use a calculator. Division is easy.
Tom Clancy's The Division?
No, the Division 2.
Oh, that was even worse.
Yeah.
Division Boogaloo.
It wasn't that bad. Right. He's poking at the soft white underbelly of the ongoing cultural wars. But this time it's between the academics and the working class. And education is losing. In the last decade, Americans have lost faith in higher education. A 2024 Gallup poll found that 68% of Americans felt higher education was headed in the wrong direction.
Those are rookie numbers. We got to pump those numbers up.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, just one more and we're at 69.
Yeah.
And it's no surprise that Republicans have lost the most faith. In 2015, 11% of Republicans had little or no confidence in higher education. Today, that number has risen to 50%. Recently, Trump had a solution. He plans to redirect $3 billion in Harvard grants to trade schools.
Yeah, probably a good idea.
But it's not about replacing Shakespeare with shop class or Aristotle with auto repair.
Ooh.
His endgame is far more sinister.
Oh.
I don't think Trump is left-handed, is he? Sinister means left-handed.
Wow, that's an intellectual joke, Terry. Wow.
Well, I mean, it's fitting for the article.
You're an English major, aren't you?
Fortunately not. I have not wasted my money on that.
He's a crypto English major.
Yeah.
She has no life behind her eyes.
Who does?
I posted the picture of on the.
Oh, okay. There she is.
Yeah, pretty much. She looks wasted on something.
She does.
Xanax is hitting hard.
Yep.
How did we get to this strange binary where building bridges is noble, but studying bridge metaphors is elitist?
What?
We all know the arguments. The humanities
We do?
are... Yeah, it says right here.
Mind reading assumes motives.
The humanities are dying because they don't lead to income-earning jobs. Students rack
That's
up.
a pretty good reason not to do a university course if it's not going to get you a good job.
It's almost like bridge metaphors don't contribute to society very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe you should learn to build a bridge instead of talking about bridge metaphors. Then you might have a job.
Students rack up debt only to land in low-wage, algorithm-managed careers that offer no real path up. Been
And
there.
people aren't lining up for this great offer. What's going on?
Sounds like a personal problem and a result of personal choices.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of funny that all the commies were basically like, after the Great Revolution, all of the blue collar workers' jobs will be automated, and mine will be, and creative jobs like mine will flourish. And then AI came along and made them redundant first.
Yeah, everyone will
You're
paint.
bad enough at your job to get replaced by AI. You deserve to be, basically. If you're in a creative field and AI is outperforming you, then you suck enough that you don't deserve to make money from that career.
So I think it's funny that this author is just, gonna just spend the entire article coping that their profession is getting replaced because they're mediocre.
They're worse. Like, if they were mediocre, they'd probably be fine. They're worse than that.
Let's just say there's a reason why my major, liberal arts, is no longer an option in most schools.
It's AI.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, trades are being romanticized by politicians who have never spent a day working one. Learn to weld, they say, as if any of them have ever picked up a chipping hammer. These jobs are backbreaking, underprotected, and increasingly subject to automation and outsourcing by legal immigrant labor.
Learn to weld is offensive, but when they were saying learn to code, that was just,
Well, learn to weld is a response to learn to code.
Yeah. But, like, it was fine for them to say learn to code, but saying learn to weld in return is like, oh no, how dare you.
No, the problem isn't academia versus skilled trades. It's that we've built an economy that treats both thinkers and workers as disposable.
You are not a thinker. You're neither a thinker nor a worker. You're nothing.
Excuse me. She writes for Medium?
Yeah.
See, when I got my English major, I knew I wasn't going to have... I got my English major because I didn't know what to do with myself, because I didn't have any other passions or interests that really, drew me, but I had... according to all my, Iowa testing and such, and SATs, my strength was in English, not math. And so I was like, okay, well, I'll go for that until I figure out what else I'm going to do. But I knew for my purposes, it was just a rubber stamp. All it said was, I can dedicate myself to a goal and I have evidence of accomplishing it. And that's about as much as I can show to an employer.
Yeah, well, I think that's one of the major things that university degrees are for, is to show that you can do that.
Right, and unless you're going to something very specialized, which, then you have credentials to show that you have specialized training and such. But I knew what I was getting into, so to speak, by getting an English major. I knew it wasn't, but I didn't have any, designs of becoming a writer or a teacher or something. I was just like, well, I will get a degree. I will show that I got an AA, and then I went to a 4-year and finished my latter 2 years getting an English degree. And then I thought, well, I'm going to go out into the world and find a job. I'm not going to feel depressed if I don't get the dream job, because I have no dream job. I just, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. So I ended up in a couple of different places and then fell into something that has absolutely nothing to do with being an English major or having an English major, but I adapted. And ta-da! And that happens for a lot of people. There was a guy I knew in college. He did everything under the sun to become an electrical engineer. And he got his degree, and then he tried to be an electrical engineer, and he found that he didn't actually like it. And he didn't know what to do because he just spent all this time doing this stuff and that. And then one day he went with I think it was his girlfriend or something, to go get some portraits done, some photography portraits. And he started asking the professional photographer guy about his lighting setup and everything, because he was an electrical engineer and he knew about that stuff. And just by he stumbled his way into becoming a professional photographer. Had nothing to do with what he went to college for or got a degree for or anything else. But now he's a professional photographer because he just stumbled into something mildly tangentially related. But, so sometimes it doesn't matter how much planning you do for what you're going to school for, you fall into something else. But to assume that because you went and got your specialized underwater basking degree, basket weaving degree in liberal arts school, you're going to find a underwater basket weaving degree in a job. I'm sorry, that's not how the world works oftentimes. So,
you have to reorganize society so that degree is useful.
Yes. Society has to cater to you. You made a mistake, and now society has to reward you for it.
So how many would you say in a given span of time, how many bridge metaphors do you do a year?
How many bridge metaphors do I do in a year? Well, given the fact that I talk about Bridge, the DEI program occasionally, twice, maybe.
The author's right.
Yeah.
No, the problem isn't no, I did that part. And we're teaching young people that their value lies only in what they can produce, not what they can understand, question, or create.
Yeah, that's right.
If I can monetize my understanding, I would do it every day.
Sure.
But unless I'm putting out something, one way or the other, monetize my thoughts. Well, how would you do that? Well, maybe I'd have to write them down. Oh, no, that would require physical labor and actually producing something for someone else to consume in some way. But I can't do that because that's too much to expect of me.
They're communists. They don't produce anything. That's why they starve to death.
Yay!
And
give me money.
saying that your volume is too low, Frosted.
I'm using a headset this week. All right. Maybe. Oh.
Your mic's gonna have to normalize. Give it a second. Okay, try again.
All right. Yeah, test 1, 2, 3.
There you go.
All right. Let's see. It's why Trump is attacking the humanities.
Oh Jesus.
The humanities.
Oh, the humanities.
The humanities.
Harry, I thought the same thing.
I knew it was coming. The humanities are where we learn to read between the lines, spot propaganda in a headline, empathize with people we'll never meet, and argue without needing to win. These are not luxuries. They're the skills that keep democracies from sliding into authoritarianism and dinner tables from erupting over Thanksgiving.
Wait, hold on. Arguing without needing to win? You are on Medium, a place where you write to specifically so you can target a specific audience that won't argue against you, and that in a format where people literally can't argue against you because it's just you writing.
And they'll get banned if they insult her in the comments.
Yeah. And yet they're being dismissed as soft, frivolous, feminine. That's not a coincidence. Once you brand something as frivolous, it becomes easy to cut. And once you equate frivolity with femininity, you've got the perfect political target. A subject that doesn't promise profit, isn't seen as masculine, and tends
obsolete.
Yeah. And tends to ask inconvenient questions, such as who gets to be in power. Your knee-jerk reaction might be to blame the patriarchy, blah, blah, blah.
It was not. It was not.
Don't deny it, Terry.
Yeah.
But
Damn
not
patriarchy. You saw through me again.
But not so fast, my feisty feminists.
Oh.
Is she like an announcer for the old Batman series? An education system where young women are nudged away from careers they love because of impossibly low wages, and young men are herded toward what's useful hurts both genders. Everyone's boxed in. Everyone loses. Women who major in literature, English, or sociology are told they're wasting their time.
They usually are.
Yeah, hey, here's an idea. Maybe if everybody is telling you something, is it possible, maybe, that they're right?
Nah.
Just a thought.
And Della Hayes says, I'll get you next time, patriarchy.
Mm-hmm.
Next time, patriarchy.
Next time.
Men who want to teach first grade or write screenplays are told to man up and pick up a wrench. Because well-paid jobs are only like involving a wrench and like that kind of stuff. You can't be like a doctor or a lawyer or something.
And Digi's asking if I've annoyed Moonshock yet. Apparently, I annoyed him so much that he didn't even show up. Some excuse about his dad being in hospital.
Yeah.
You know. So I guess I preemptively annoyed him.
Young boys especially get that message early. Currently, only 11% of elementary school teachers are male. Shit, doesn't that mean that men are being oppressed?
You would think.
Yeah,
I mean, in a way, it's a lot of people don't trust male adults that aren't family with their kids. It's just like a thing. Like most people would not trust their kids to a male adult that's not in the family. It's like that's why you get so many female teachers in like younger grades.
Obviously, there should have been preferential hiring programs for men.
It's not 50-50, it's oppression.
Yeah. We keep complaining that boys lack strong male role models, while their teachers are an excellent place to start. Because apparently they don't. Because apparently they don't have fathers.
Yeah.
Here's the thought: why don't we have more male teachers? That's a great idea. More male teachers. The author seems to be forgetting that teaching like K through 12 is way overly representative of women.
Instead, Republicans scapegoat academics. But while the right accuses the academic elite of subsidizing tweed jackets and weeping over Dostoevsky,
Wow.
Americans must understand that pushing this false war is a distraction. They want
The real war is in Israel. You got to support it.
Why is the left so obsessed with the author, the one that you just said?
Dostoevsky.
I think they just
apparently
they just wanted to be impressive by like, hey, look at this foreign name I know.
Yeah. I can't word tonight.
Clearly, that's okay.
They want the welder to think the philosopher looks down on him, and the literature major to think the lineman voted against her humanity.
And the literature major is retarded.
Imagine if she put as much time into writing up her resume as she put into this. She might not be having anything to complain about.
Well, considering how she thinks that, these liberal arts and English majors are like preventing society from collapsing. Like apparently they do. Apparently she does look down on, linemen and welders and whatnot. Divide and defund. That's the play. If you have ever...
Wasn't it the left that wanted to defund the police?
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently defunding is not a right-wing thing.
Excuse me, I just need to interrupt for one moment. Dostoevsky.
There you go.
There you go. Thank you.
Just call him Dusty for short.
That's what we are called. Good enough.
You answered every question.
and what did he do? Lie.
You weren't confident enough to go for the Dostoevsky again.
Dostoevsky.
If you have ever sat through a boring lecture on existentialism, you see the absurdity. A productive society can teach both how to weld and wonder. We need people who can wire a circuit board and people who can ask whether we should plug it in. You don't study the humanities to act smug at dinner parties. Oh, you could have fooled me.
X'd it out.
Yeah. You study it to recognize when a leader starts using the language of saviors, scapegoats, and purity.
Yeah.
Because blue-collar workers are too stupid to see through this, apparently.
Yeah.
You study ethics to know when a policy is legal but immoral. Because blue-collar people don't have morals.
No.
You study history so you know when you're being lied to.
This is my favorite line coming up.
The humanities are where we learn to be human.
So the blue collar workers aren't even human.
Welders aren't human. We
What-
learned something
What a
today.
self-righteous prick.
I know, right?
But
That's
again,
like the most arrogant thing I've ever heard.
but again, it's a myth that people like this look down on blue collar workers.
Yes, completely.
They don't make you woke. They make you awake.
Ooh.
God.
This person's so up their own ass.
They make you cringe.
What a fucking asshole.
When workers become widgets. There's something eerily familiar about the push to funnel students into state-approved, utility-first career paths. Something, dare I say, gasp, communist.
Okay.
Think about it. A central authority decides which skills are valuable, which paths are acceptable, and which forms of knowledge are no longer worth public investment. In Maoist China, this was called re-education. In today's America, it's called career readiness.
So the real communism was the friends we made along the way.
And China hasn't abandoned that model. It's tempting to dismiss all this as just economic pragmatism, as if we're simply matching students to jobs more efficiently. But the blueprint looks suspiciously familiar, and not in a freedom-loving liberal democracy kind of way. Do you know what China's most popular vocational school is? It's Apple.
Okay.
Good for them.
Hey, wait. So is the author trying to convince us that Trump is like a communist because
Yes.
he's trying to diversify the workforce
Yes.
Or
instead of funneling everybody into useless career paths and overinflating the university market?
If you don't have a degree in lesbian dance theory, what are you even doing with your life?
or maybe
I
it's
mean,
just
it's not like everyone could be a sociologist.
Yeah, exactly.
or maybe it's just, fact of life that jobs that are more useful to society are paid well and more needed.
Yeah.
Maybe he is trying to provide a counterpoint to the fact that the entire public education system tells everybody, no matter their qualifications, that they need to go to college after high school.
This is true.
In China,
I mean, did anyone ever told by a teacher ever that maybe trade school was for them?
Yes.
Really?
I've literally heard that said before. Yes.
But what were they being
By a
insulted?
teacher.
Well, maybe university's not the maybe just be a plumber or something.
Well, how long ago was that, though?
How long ago was that? Well, it was high school for me, so I guess sometime in the late 90s.
My high school guidance counselor said that.
Yeah.
I think I wanted to be like a teacher back in like high school or something, but I'm not attracted to kids, so.
Yeah.
In China,
You can't be a politician either then.
Yeah. In China, state-guided education funnels young people directly into factory internships, often in partnership with tech giants. Foxconn, the company behind your iPhone, doubles as a training ground. The goal? Simple. Produce skilled, compliant labor with just enough training to meet economic demands, and none of the intellectual wanderlust to question them. Unfortunately, when we got
For the love of God, you're not taught to question anything in college.
No.
You are
Intellectual
told-
wanderlust.
That is a great phrase.
Yeah, the
Oh my
wanderlust to jump off the rooftops and catch yourself on a suicide net.
This person is the most elitist prick imaginable. They somehow managed to combine total overconfidence with a total lack of understanding of reality.
Okay. Unfortunately, when we gut the humanities and steer young people toward useful careers, we're not just losing Shakespeare. We're importing a model of education that prioritizes obedience over curiosity and production over participation. If you build
You, sir or madam, are are a philosophical void. You are an absence. Fix yourself.
As you can clearly see by the picture, she is a mannequin.
Yes.
Yes, she is
I think,
dead
I
inside.
think I've seen that episode of Twilight Zone.
That's a lot of episodes of Twilight Zone.
Oh, there was one about mannequins coming to life, wasn't there?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think.
Wax figures.
No, there definitely was.
There's a couple like toys and
Yeah,
whatnot.
yeah.
And then there was the planet with the two suns where everyone was like either an actor or just dead.
And no one could ever talk because both sons kept saying hi to everyone.
If you build a society of workers who don't ask questions, don't be surprised when you get a nation that doesn't know how to say no. Remember when Trump was forced to pay $25 million in fraud settlements over his Trump University? A fake university with no accreditation, no faculty, and no refund policy? Yeah, so that guy is back to lecture America on education. In 2023, he rebranded his Trump University 2.0 as the American Academy.
Kid.
Hey, what rating in each subject is America on the world stage as far as education is concerned? We're like middle of the road for like everything now because
Pretty
everyone
much,
is
yeah.
stupid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty much been downhill
We-
since like the 70s.
We have literally brought back adult illiteracy.
True.
We eradicated it and we brought it back through
You imported it
educational
across the border too.
ineptitude.
Well, you also imported it across the border. That's another reason why there's a lot of illiterate.
Fair enough.
Okay. Oh, someone just left. In 2023, he rebranded his Trump University 2.0 as the American Academy. But this time, instead of wasting his own bribe money on another half-cooked con, he had a better idea. Why not just raid real universities' endowments to fund his anti-woke erudition?
No, because look, if he wanted to be anti-woke, wouldn't he call it True University? Like instead of Trump University, that would have just gotten all the quote MAGA chuds on board. They would have been like, yeah,
Truth Social Brand
yes,
University. Yeah.
And here's the math test, America. Trump promises it won't add a single dime to the American debt. Sure, maybe if he's pulling it from Pete Hegseth's beer slush fund. Or maybe, just maybe, he's counting on the public not asking too many questions. Which is exactly what happens when you kill the humanities. Because I promise you this, when you kill the humanities, you get a nation that knows how to build things, but not how to ask whether it should. Oh wow, someone saw Jurassic Park. Wow.
I was
I
about
was
to
thinking
say.
that. Yeah, I was trying to remember the exact phrasing of the quote, but yeah,
She did her
The
college
author-
entrance exam on Jurassic Park.
yes.
That's actually the college. It's just a movie theater. It just plays Jurassic Park, and you pay $10,000.
This lady desperately wants everyone to think she's smart. How do we save the humanities? We stop pretending that plumbers and poets are arch enemies. One builds your house, the other helps you question what a home means.
Oh my god!
Both equally important.
Yes.
Oh my god! Do you have any shame?
And if you don't think we need both, you're already halfway to authoritarianism. Oh, damn it.
Oh, well, there you go. I'm more than halfway.
There you go. God, I'm pretty much there already.
Yeah.
Whoa, we're halfway there.
Yeah.
We
Is it on a
I want to go work at Apple so I can take a head first dive into a suicide net.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, we fund public universities like they matter, because they do. And yes, we fund trade schools too. but we stop letting politicians use one to destroy the other. Parents, stop asking your kids, what job will that major get you? And start asking, what kind of citizen will it make you?
Oh, fuck's sake.
Oh, God.
You don't pay like hundreds of thousands of dollars in, tuition fees just to find out what kind of citizen you're going to be.
Well, you do these days because it's about becoming an activist. It's not about
Yes,
learning
it-
something or being able to contribute to society.
Allow me to rephrase. You shouldn't spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on tuition fees to do that.
This author should get off my planet. They're wasting my oxygen.
Yes.
And I like, parents, stop asking your kids this. Ask what kind of citizen it will make you. You know what should determine what kind of citizen you are? Your parents.
That would be good.
But your teachers aren't supposed to decide like who you are morally and ethically and all that.
It's what Jack said reminded me of someone was saying like somewhere a tree is working tirelessly to produce oxygen for you to breathe. I want you to go find it and apologize.
Students, don't be afraid to study subjects that won't land you in a cubicle. You are not a wrench. You are not a spreadsheet. You are not a quarterly earnings report.
You are not an intellectual.
You are not your fucking khakis.
Is that a reference?
That's from Fight Club.
Fight Club.
And policymakers, if you're so afraid of students reading history, philosophy, and ethics, maybe the problem isn't the curriculum. Maybe it's the mirror.
That is a pretty terrible newspaper, I agree.
God. That hurt.
Yeah.
This article has 2.1 thousand likes.
Yeah.
This is what happens. This is what happens when you teach people how to think that they're smart without actually teaching them to be smart.
But before anyone gets too upset about the 2.1 thousand, remember that each person can vote 50 times. So, I mean...
Do you know how many different accounts I had to make to get to that many likes?
Yeah.
This doesn't feel like 6 minutes.
Yeah.
Alright. Well, with the end of the first article comes the first game, and that is Sad Libs Double Prompt Edition, where I take 4 headlines for Medium, take out 2 words, and you guys fill in those words Mad Lib style, and the chat votes on which one is best. Alright. So, Jack, I'm going to need a male person.
Let's go with someone who's been irritating me recently. Jack Black.
Oh, God.
So you better make this one count, people.
Yeah.
Jack Black's been eating his blueberries.
Yes.
Alright, Johnny, I need a male person possessive.
Let's see. We'll go Mike Pence's.
Yeah, okay. Terry, I need a person.
Well, let's go Ben Shapiro.
Alright, Scribe, I need a specific thing.
A specific thing.
Yeah, so I don't know, like it's
how about Conan's sweaty loincloth?
yeah, alright.
Can't get much more specific than that.
That's true.
Especially think about the transitive verb that's coming after that.
Yeah.
Okay, Johnny, give me a specific thing. Johnny?
Jack's blueberries.
Yeah.
Hey, Johnny. Fuck you and your horse, too.
Alright, let's see. Terry, give me a transitive verb ending in ing.
Digesting.
Scribe, give me a verb.
Just a verb. Bleed.
Okay, and Jack, give me a transitive verb.
Let's make it nasty. Let's go with sniff.
All right. So let's see. Jack's is. Oops. Okay, wait. Just a second. Okay.
Drum roll.
Okay. Jack Black won the lottery, and then his girlfriend stole Jack's blueberries.
Yeah.
So that's where they went.
Yeah.
I've been blaming the birds this whole time,
Damn
but it
you,
was
Jack
really
Black.
Jack Black's girlfriend.
All right, Johnny. Mike Pence's obsession over a webcam model led to him digesting his family.
Ew.
He ate his family.
I guess so.
Man,
You put that on a true crime podcast.
was
Yeah.
it like a Lovecraft story?
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Terry. Why Ben Shapiro's struggling to bleed in a tiny corset isn't goals.
Okay. I don't know what that really means. I guess goals is like kiddie slang for something to aspire to.
Yeah, I think so. All right, and Scribes. Why Conan's sweaty loincloth tastes good but can be hard to sniff.
See, that one works.
It does.
All right, so I'll start a poll for the chat so they can vote which is best. It's gotta be either Jack or Scribe.
Yeah. I haven't miscribed because you're not allowed to vote for Jack.
Just, like, why would she steal his blueberries after winning the lottery?
You didn't think that I would stay rich by paying for blueberries, did you?
He's got a point.
I have saved millions on blueberries by stealing them from Jack.
The elites don't want you to know this, but the blueberries on Jack property are free.
You can take them. I have 437 pounds of blueberries.
The IRS hates him.
Yes.
Alright, well, it looks like Scribe's gonna win since he has 57%.
That's a pretty convincing win.
Congratulations to Conan's sweaty loincloth.
Yes.
I'm a wiener.
And also, we have less than half as many likes as we do viewers.
What? Hit the like button.
Yeah.
Why would that be?
I don't know. I bet there are no good welders.
Yeah.
Come on,
They don't even
come
know how
on,
to be
Chad.
human.
Don't you like don't you like articles from Medium?
Alright, I think I can end the poll there, so... Yeah,
I think so.
Where are
Scribe,
your humanities degrees?
yeah.
Yay.
So Scribe wins with 58% of the vote.
Woo.
Alright, and but since Scribe is gonna have to leave a little early, I didn't want to risk missing the titular article, so we're actually gonna have that second.
Okay.
Alright, so Scribe, I know you're a fan of the diversity, equity, and inclusion stuff.
Boy,
Who is
I've
it?
dedicated the last decade of my life to it. You're right.
Yeah, but anyone can find an article about DEI. But
Don't I know it?
yeah,
Yeah.
but what's more fun is finding one that's even more specially tailored to you.
Oh,
Want to run
do
an
tell.
Want to run an inclusive campaign? Avoid
Mhm.
performative diversity.
Oh, yeah. How do you test for that?
Mm.
And this one's 9 minutes, so we're probably going to skip a bit in it.
As far as I know, the only way to avoid performative diversity is if you're not white. Because if you're white, any diversity you practice is immediately suspect.
Yeah,
I think just don't be white in general is their advice to the world. I think that's what they want
Pretty
everyone
much,
to do.
yeah.
yeah.
Or just keep, prostrating yourself before the altar of shame if you are white.
When
I mean, even then, they won't like you or respect you. They'll just
No.
exploit you if you're dumb enough to let them.
Yeah, you'll be an honored ally forever.
Yeah.
they'll
I'm
tolerate
curious.
you.
Is there literally anything that a white person can do that wouldn't cause problems with the DEI crowd?
See, I would say two chicks at the same time, but that's not true.
When I first decided to GM professionally, I signed up as a player in several paid games. One of the first games I signed up for was a Vampire the Masquerade game.
Oh.
During session 0, I was...
See, they're under arrest.
Oh, damn it. During session 0, I was overjoyed to learn that the prince was not only a woman, but a woman of color.
Oh, geez.
Oh.
The,
You
sh-
mean the fictional character? Okay, great.
the sheriff and half the Primogen... Primogen? I don't know.
Primogen.
Primogen were also BIPOC,
You
albeit...
mean Bippy?
Yeah,
They were
Bibic,
Bippy.
were albeit overwhelmingly male. What?
Throw it out.
No.
Painted.
Like many role players, I cut my teeth on vampire games that often assigned important/powerful roles to cishet white men, with conventionally attractive features, athletic builds, and youthful appearances, and I was eager to play games that gave power to a much wider demographic.
Keep your damn ass. Is she pretty or not? I remember there was a hot chick in the video game.
I haven't played the game.
Is she talking about like a tabletop game or a LARP or
I
something?
think so, because she talked about GMing, so I'm guessing it's like
It's tabletop.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anybody can play anything, and it's all fictional in your mind's eye anyway. So, okay, well, this is why I stopped playing Vampire the Masquerade, or at least I stopped making use of any of the editions after the 20th anniversary edition, because 5th Ed and onward is all just a bunch of woke bullshit.
Because you hate non-white people, Scribe?
Yeah.
No, because I don't need to be lectured to or have my horror dumbed down because somebody thinks it's icky.
Session 1 came and went, as did Session 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on.
And then...
The prince never appeared, nor made any princely decrees. The Bipic Primogen were always curiously sidelined at Elysium. We were law-abiding, so the sheriff never had cause to rough us up. Despite the fact that the NPC cast of this game was diverse on paper, in practice all of the characters that we, the players, interacted with were the same tired tropes. This was not a one-off either, but rather a pattern that I observed across several games. What good does it do to have a diverse cast if nothing the cast does actually has any real impact on the world the players inhabit?
Here's an idea. Maybe if you're the type of person that includes characters for diversity purposes, maybe you're just not a very good writer.
So is the complaint that so she's starting out as a player because she wanted to become a GM, but the person running the NPCs, I assume the GM of the campaign or the chronicle that she was in, that all of the NPCs are just written as, this is a black woman. And then the GM just doesn't have, I don't know, the acting chops to give each one a differing personality or something that would be reflective of. I mean, and even then, can you imagine the complaints that would happen? It's like, yes, the prince of the city is a black female. And then the GM tries to imitate what he or she thinks a black female would sound like to try to differentiate the character from someone else. You know how immediately someone like this would jump on them for being a racist, stereotype, sexist, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, I mean, if they default to Mammy every time, yeah, I can see where that would be an issue.
That would be interesting.
I mean, in order for that person to play a black woman accurately, if, say, for example, the GM was a white male, they would pretty much have to go for the most milquetoast impression imaginable, as not to be accused of being racist.
Yeah. All right. Keep going. I want to hear what the specific complaint here is. It's just like they weren't. And here's the thing, you know, setting aside all of the identitarianism here, it could be just a weak GM. You know, someone who just doesn't have a whole lot of range when it comes to trying to portraying different characters or things. But okay, keep going.
Okay. This phenomenon has a name: performative diversity, and it's hardly exclusive to TTRPGs. You can observe performative diversity in written works, Netflix originals, movies, and any number of world-building circumstances.
Wait. Okay. Of all the things to choose to try to exemplify this, you choose tabletop role-playing games where everyone is performing. I mean, performative diversity, it's like if I play a role-playing game and I'm playing a gumshoe detective from the 40s and someone else is playing a kung fu monk, of course it's performative and it's diverse because we're not playing ourselves. And it's fiction.
And it's ableist because neither of you are in a wheelchair.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
I mean, in fairness, it's kind of like when you have a movie and they do the thing where they replace the white character with a black character. We recognize that is performative because that is not for the purpose of organic storytelling. It is an intentional whatever you call it, wrench, throwing it in there just to just for the purpose of pushing an ideological agenda.
Well, sure, but in this case, the author is. I mean, if this person sat down to a tabletop game, and the characters, and she even says herself, it's like, oh well, I mean, most of them are white males and heteronormative, this, that, and the other. Nothing would satisfy her if there weren't enough women of color. Then obviously this person is racist, sexist. If there are too many women of color, well, now they're just being performative. This is a Goldilocks individual. And they shouldn't be anywhere near a tabletop game if they can't just go in to have fun. She wasn't going in to have fun. She was going in to audit the credibility of the GM in the game for her own personal taste. And this is the kind of mentality amongst many, many different genres and hobbies and things, but role-playing games in particular for this case. This is the kind of mentality that has ruined things. This is what happened to video games, this is what happened to role-playing games, this happens to everything else. Someone gets in there, starts complaining, and you have a community that more often than not, at least back in the olden days, was completely welcoming. There wasn't any bar for entry. It's just as long as you're not a jerkwad, here, come play our game. Play in our game. If you're new to it, we'll help you out. If you're a girl, yay, a girl. And then someone comes in and is like, well, I don't really feel comfortable with this the way it is. Couldn't there be something like this? And then somebody's like, well, it doesn't bother them to accommodate because what the character is in the story, unless it, drastically affects the plot or something, it's irrelevant. It's like, well, if the prince of the city is a black female, or if the prince of the city is an Asian male, if they're just there as an NPC for the sake of a narrative device, it doesn't really matter. But okay. And then, of course, it's just not good enough. No, you have to do this. No, I don't feel comfortable here. It's like you're being this, that, and the other. I hate this. Oh, this is the same kind of thing that destroyed my own role-playing group. It just drives me up the fucking wall.
Isn't 90% of, unless it's like to the story, like, well, take for Dungeons and Dragons, for example. They already have these characters in the novelizations, which can, do their cameos in the game if you so opted for it. Isn't everything else just pretty much like up to your imagination?
Yeah, but even then, even if you're using like a canon character, only then if you're trying to maintain some kind of credibility, you would use that character or portray that character in a way that they've already been established. Everything else is just flavor text, unless it becomes vital to the story. It's not that important unless the characters or the players decide to make it so. Like I've been in games where, what was it? Oh, so there was a vampire game I was in. It was a LARP game. And the person running the table for new players or people coming in with new characters, they'd have to give a little bit of a backstory or have something because they had to be introduced into the city to the prince or something of say, what city are you from? And the guy running the table, completely without meaning to, like 3 or 4 times in a row, he just kept saying, like, what's a city that my character could have come from? Because, I don't know because in the world of vampires, some cities are run by the Camarilla, which are the quote-unquote good vampires, or some are run by the Sabbat or the Anarchs or whatever. And the guy at the table just wasn't paying attention. And so like every third person, he'd just say, oh, how about you come from Denver? And so you had 3 different game sessions in a row where all these people were showing up from Denver. Now, it made it had nothing to do with anything. It didn't reflect anything going on in the meta plot or anything else, but it became a thing because the people at court, and even the guy playing the prince, was kind of like, why are so many people coming from Denver? And so something that was a complete accident, that was completely irrelevant, the players themselves started asking. It was kind of sort of the kismet of both a sort of metagaming situation, but also one where it's like, well, this is part of the plot. So people got thinking, are the storytellers trying to run some kind of like Denver exodus on us? Is there something going on? And so they started asking questions like, what's going on in Denver? So we had players coming up to us going like, so I have 3 points of contacts on my sheet. For this week, I want to like contact the Bruja Primogen of Denver and find out why so many people are leaving Denver. And then the storytellers come back and say, we go to the guy at the table. It's like, well, why did you do this? Like, oh, I didn't even think about it. Like, oh, well, now it's a thing. And so now we have to come up with a plot. And that led to a month-long epic that resulted in the prince of the city and the prince of Denver having a face-to-face meeting to find out, why are you throwing all of your garbage into my town? And it was fucking amazing. And that's the kind of thing that can happen when you have irrelevant plot devices turn into something out of creativity and happenstance. That's the magic of it. But unless it is relevant, this is like, oh, well, she's a black female, like, and unless, now do you want to turn that into a plot line? Otherwise, if you're just concerned about the aesthetics of it, you're boring. If you want to make it into a story, or you want to try to tie your character into it or something, but even then, it's like, it had nothing to do with like what the person looked like. It was something about their actions, where they were from, what were they doing in the city, why did they leave Denver? Questions, not the surface level aesthetics. Unless you're just a very surface level, shallow individual.
There are few titles as unimpressive as Prince of Denver.
Well, yeah, I mean that was the other thing too. Is that we had to come up with a whole like, who is the Prince of Denver in our world, and what do they do, and is there something going on? Is he sending all of his not so great people our way for some reason? Like, what's going on? It was great.
I can picture that ending like Aaron Burr and Alexander Hamilton.
And that, folks, is why we need English majors.
No, I think the Prince of Denver should have been Eric Cartman. I mean, South Park is apparently pretty close to Denver.
Yeah.
Oh man, it was an epic. Yeah, it was and like the storytellers, it's like this is why, as a storyteller in a game where you have either creative players or you keep kind of a loosey-goosey reactive mentality about it, is that they do all the work for you. Like we didn't have to introduce for like a month and a half. We didn't have to do any heavy lifting in plot. The players would say, I'm calling this person in Denver and finding out this, or I'm going to start scheming this and that because of this thing and this stuff. And so we went to the guy at the table and said, thank you for being so lazy as to make everybody coming from Denver for 2 nights because now we don't have to do any work. Everybody's just coming up with stuff and we just have to answer that question. And then that's the plot for the night. It was great.
Let's see. And 4, explain why I reject realistically capturing the world as the raison d'etre for diversity in fictional worlds, not just TTRPGs. I start with an assumption that real diversity is a good thing.
I would question that assumption.
In TTRPGs and beyond. If you're not on board with this starting assumption, then this article won't convince you that your stories ought to be diverse.
Okay, well there you go. We're done.
What's real diversity? Like, what is that supposed to mean?
No
diversity?
I was going to say, Terry, no whites.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah.
Also,
Rule 1, no whites.
Also,
It's like, yeah, your vampire population in Denver must exactly match the racial demographics of Denver, or else it's not really Denver.
Also, what
Yeah,
if you're...
No, and then
what
no,
if
it has to disproportionately favor minorities, or else it's not Denver.
also, what if your GM is white? Isn't them, like, being a black NPC problematic or something?
Well, that's what I was saying earlier. It's like, if you have an NPC, if you have a GM who is trying to portray a character that just happens to be of a different race or ethnicity or something. I mean, unless they're doing like a goofy accent.
That's why white people shouldn't be allowed to do it. They shouldn't be allowed to be GMs or DMs.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, the prince of the city approaches you. Well, hello there, fellow vampires.
Allow me to shuck and jive for you.
I was just hoping I could talk to you.
Prince
Why does he sound like he's on his way to Oregon?
It's Prince Foghorn Leghorn. That's what I.
Well, I'm gonna cock the wagon and ford my way across the river over there.
Good old Denver.
Need to get myself an Indian guide.
However, if you're on board with that assumption and you're interested in having a conversation about what that might look like, then please stick around.
Do I have to?
As noted, I will also take a stance on what the point of diversity is, at least in the context of fictional worlds.
Oh, okay.
What is it that we hope increased diversity will bring about? Specifically, I will reject the notion that the point of diversity is simply to better capture the real world. In fact, I will argue that adopting this rationale can lead to new problematic outcomes.
Yes, because there's actually white people in real life, and that's very problematic. You need to
Pushing diversity is meant to exert control over other people and as well be a narcissistic outlet for people who want to quote unquote see themselves in things. It's colonization is what it is.
Finally, I'm not claiming that I have gotten it all right.
Oh, well, thank goodness for that.
I think the question of how we improve representation in fictional works is just hard. Instead of viewing this article as a definitive manual for representation, I intend it as an ongoing conversation about how we can improve diversity in the worlds that we create. I think we can skip the part about what is performative diversity.
Thank you.
Alright, let's see. Why is performative diversity a bad thing? Performative diversity is a bad thing, or at least a suboptimal thing, because it misses the whole point of diversity in fiction, showing that individuals from marginalized groups are just as human as individuals in dominant social groups.
Well, except for black people, they're only 60% as human.
Also, I thought you're vampires, so you're not human.
Yeah,
Right.
that's it.
And therefore deserve the same respect, dignity, opportunity, validation, safety, etc. that dominant groups already receive.
But characters in a story are not deserving of anything in particular. You treat them however you need to treat them in order for the plot to develop.
Also, if your characters are safe, that's a real boring RPG.
True.
Yeah, the most interesting characters are the ones that suffer the most.
This is also why I reject one of the common rationales put forward for for diversity in fiction. The claim that increasing diversity... alarm. That for diversity in fiction, the claim that increasing diversity makes the world more realistic. The goal of making the world more realistic is a double-edged sword. Did you mean sword?
I think so.
On the one hand, this goal can create motivation to add Bipic, Ligptk, and women characters to a narrative.
Bipic, Lipidiga, and women.
If you're going to aim for realistic, you would need to like be realistic. There's no, oh my god.
I mean, if you're going for realism, you'd have to not have vampires in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, if it's taking place in Denver, there's not going to be any black people, probably.
Yeah, it's true.
Well, it's only as realistic as the background you've got for the character. I mean, it's if your character is, I'm a black female vampire, like, okay, from what era? Where did you? I mean, the whole thing is about the backstory. Like, how did you become a vampire? What era are you from? What culture are you bringing with you? I mean, if 200 years ago you were a slave in New Orleans and then you had to flee there because of a hurricane, and you ended up getting embraced halfway across the country and then found yourself in Denver at a different era in time doing this, that, and the other. Okay, is your race part of your backstory? Well, maybe it is. Maybe it affected how you were treated in your opening or your prelude or something. Other than that, it's like it literally is a surface level thing unless you give it meaning. That's what I was trying to get across with the whole Denver thing. It's like being from Denver means nothing unless you make a story out of it. And that's the whole point of this stuff. And if you want to make a story out of it that's, ties to your character's history or how they were treated or how they were treated in the past and how it defines how they behave now, great. But it would diversity for the sake of diversity. She's talking about like, she's the one promoting performative diversity. She's not talking about like character. She's talking about skin color, if you can believe it. It all comes back down to Martin Luther King. I somehow I did that. There you go.
No, she quite clearly says that she doesn't like performative diversity, Scribe.
Well, obviously not, because that's what she's putting. If you took away someone's surface level
like
stuff,
it when you do it.
Well, yes, there's that too. Yes, she has to be the one to do it, or to criticize others for not doing it right.
Don't worry, she can write a black woman of color or whatever.
Real performance diversity has never been tried.
Yeah,
true.
Yes.
Let's see. On the other hand, I'm guessing she means on the other hand.
Oh, great.
It can and has been used as a way to justify assigning those characters to low status, marginal roles. After all, these groups are marginalized in the real world, so some GMs and other creators use this real-world marginalization as grounds for unequal treatment in the narrative world as well.
Wait. You had a black female prince of the city. You can't get much higher than that in the pyramid of things, well, unless you're the Tremere. So,
well, yes, but a man looked at her funny in the street, didn't you know?
Okay, anyway, moving on.
It's about feeling uncomfortable.
Okay. I've seen this frequently invoked when disallowing female leaders or warriors, and or explaining why relatively few positions of authority are held by MNPCs. Yeah, she establishes earlier that MNPC is marginalized NPC.
I was thinking minority,
but
yeah.
Look, if the black woman was in a position of power, they would complain that the real life struggle of black women wasn't being adequately represented. And if she's not in a position of power, they're going to ask, why aren't black women permitted the positions of power in a fictional story?
Why aren't black women 50 points ahead?
There's literally no way to... Every single thing these people argue, there is no winning. There's literally no winning.
Of course, yeah. It's like that picture that was going around where if it's two white people shooting each other, where's the black representation? If it's a white person shooting a black person, then that's racism against blacks. If it's a black person shooting a white person, why are you representing blacks as violent? If it's two black people shooting each other, why are you representing blacks as violent? It's like there is no configuration of races where they will not complain.
Yep, that's why you never give in, because they'll never be happy.
Yeah, exactly.
If we adopt the goal of realistically depicting the potential and capabilities of all segments of the population, then this problem dissolves.
Okay, so all black NPCs are really good runners, but terrible swimmers.
Make their actions meaningful and unique. Here's what I don't think meaningful diversity is: including marginalized characters as minor NPCs or background characters. That's not to say that background characters or minor NPCs don't matter. They do. They can enhance or detract from a game, depending upon how they're utilized. The problem is that some creators drop MNPCs in as background characters, pat themselves on the back for embracing diversity, and call it a day. In other words, MNPCs are treated as extras, rather than fully fleshed out characters. Hence I call this the extras trap.
If they're extras in the background of a game, unless you're calling them what they are, it doesn't matter what they are.
Chicken McWatermelon. Just call your NPC that, and then people will know it's black.
Well, McWatermelon, they're clearly Irish.
Silky Johnson.
In the context of your world, how would the plot of your story change if this character never existed? Would the events of the story unfold in more or less the same fashion? Would there be only a minor change, or would whole segments of the narrative collapse? If you could delete most MNPCs from your game without substantially changing your story, then the actions of these characters matter little in the world you've created.
You know, this also in a way, this kind of presumes that the GM thinks that their created characters are the most important part of the story that they're telling, when ideally, and I'm being an idealist here, the GM or storyteller's focus should be on the player's characters. When I run a game, I might have a setting. Like I ran a game one time, I just said it was going to be set in Las Vegas. I call it Las Vegas Bloodbath. And I said, okay, what are we going to do in Las Vegas? I said, I don't know. I don't know what my players want to play. So before we even had a real session, we had the zero session where we're going around like, hey, what do you want to play? What kind of character do you want to play? How can I make these or find ways to make these characters connected in some way, shape, or form, or relate to one another before we even start rolling the dice? And for me, that's some of the most fun part of doing role-playing games is the character creation process, because like I was saying before, oftentimes you don't need to do as much heavy lifting because your players, if they're enthusiastic enough, they'll give you plenty to work with. So if you have a player who says, oh, I want to be, I was like a high school band member, and then I got caught on a bus that was going to a sports meet, and our bus wrecked, and I looked for help out in the woods, and a vampire got me, and then this happened. I'd be like, okay, so you have a musical background, you're this, that, and the other, and then this other character is anyway. It could go on forever, but your focus should be on, okay, I'm making a world to react to these players and their imaginations and their enthusiasm. My characters, whatever they look like or whatever else, are going to react to them. I make the world that reacts to the players. I'm not making characters to satisfy my own ego. My ego is satisfied by telling a good story and having the players and I have this symbiotic relationship where we all have fun.
Yeah, like an NPC shouldn't be the main character.
No, it shouldn't be the main character. I mean, now, if it is an important character to the story you're telling, then sure, you're going to have like a little bit more backstory for them than the bank teller that somebody runs into for a scene or something. But I always had this this warning for people, and especially in the LARPs. It's like I would tell people who were, if I was part of the staff or whatever, and I was helping to run the game, I'd say, don't fall in love with your own character. You are not the main character of this. You are here if you're running characters, if you're a storyteller, you cannot. In fact, you should not have your own signature NPC. This is something that a lot of people ran into problems with. Is that they'd create a signature NPC for them. Sometimes it was necessary. Like we usually had like one person playing the Prince NPC just to make consistency and so everybody know who to look at. But you can't think of that character as your character. It's just a tool. And in fact, as much as you can avoid it, don't make a signature NPC. I was always of the rule that except for the very small exceptions, the only vampires that should be in the game are the player's vampires. And the staff, the STs and everything should not be running their own superheroes or something. You run the everyday characters they run into, or maybe their NPC contacts somewhere otherwise. Yeah, like so this person, whoever's writing this, is... and it could be a matter of, again, maybe they've just run into bad STs or bad GMs who fall in love with their own plots and their own characters so much they think that that's how you run a game. And if that's the case, I feel sorry for her in that way. But at the same time, she's a little pushing this diversity nonsense and not seeming to understand what the dynamic of a TTRPG should be. And again, I'm being a snob, but that's just...
I guess skip ahead a little bit. All right. Bonus. Are your MNPCs villains? Think through your catalog of antagonists. Are MNPCs disproportionately represented amongst the antagonists? This doesn't necessarily mean that the majority of your antagonists are drawn from a marginalized group. It could simply mean that, of the MNPCs in your game, a plurality of them are antagonists. If that's the case, then it's a good sign that you should change up the story that you're telling. I struggle to live up to my standards. I have never personally seen any work that deals with diversity perfectly, at least by the standards I have offered. But I certainly think it's possible to do better or worse relative to these criteria. This is true even if the creator is a member of a marginalized group. After all, we are all subject to the same enculturation process, so we are all exposed to toxic ideas to some degree or another.
Well, we just read an entire article full of them.
Yeah, what a fabulous get out of actually having to present a realistic solution. I just think we can do better, guys.
Yes.
I still struggle to live up to my own standards. If I were being honest, I would probably give myself a B+ on diversity. Despite the fact that I belong to at least 2 marginalized groups, women and LGBT, and am a PhD candidate specializing in feminist philosophy.
Oh, wow. I wasn't too far off with lesbian dance theory.
This relates to our first article.
Oh my god.
What do you do with a doctorate in feminist philosophy? All right.
2 chicks at the same time.
Damn it, it even works better because it's feminist philosophy.
Terry, this is your Super Bowl, Terry.
I strongly suspect that there's room for all of us to grow and improve the way we depict marginalized groups. Moreover, I think that making a good faith effort to grow and improve is necessary for dismantling our very problematic status quo. When does favorable representation turn into erasure of injustice? Before I wrap up, I want to create trouble for my own view and foreshadow a forthcoming article. To do so, here's a worry about what I've said thus far. Okay, Byrne, we want to represent the inherent potential and capabilities of marginalized individuals, and you say that this requires setting aside realistic distributions of power. However, in reality, there are real boundaries that keep marginalized people from wielding power. Isn't ignoring these power distributions tantamount to ignoring the reasons why these power distributions exist? Furthermore, isn't ignoring the reasons for these power distributions also ignoring a huge swath of lived experience? How is this a good thing? What if you just want to play a vampire?
No, but I was so hoping that that she would put that entire question and the answer would be no, and then just end the article.
Yeah. Like you just want to play a vampire game.
Yeah, she really likes that word of the day calendar.
Yes, imaginary interlocutor. Oh. That's that PhD at work. All right.
Yeah.
I do think that ignoring societal prohibitions on, on female combat, for example, erases the sexist underpinnings for that rationale, and thereby erases that particular flavor of sexism. If your game is going to showcase a female character that wants to be a combatant, but is disallowed from combat despite her obvious competence, and your player is comfortable with that, then I think you've got the makings for a sympathetic story that interrogates misguided social norms. However, if you're merely disallowing a female character on the grounds that sexism would preclude her existence, then I don't think the aforementioned objection applies.
I'm utterly confused. If you build a character that is combat capable, why would it be good to prevent them from getting into combat? Like what?
Well, because that's
she's a woman. Go back to the kitchen. The end.
Yeah. No, but if you've made a competent female warrior and then they aren't allowed to be a warrior, you're taking a brave stance against, social oppression and all the rest of it. That's
well,
why.
if you have a player who makes a character that's combat focused and you're not finding ways to integrate that element of the character into the story, then you're just a bad. This all comes back to like just either bad GMs or GMs with lack of or her like imagining the worst possible GMs you can think of that are like, oh, I can't have that character do this because that's not what girls do. Like what? She's portraying a world that I've never in all my years, and I can say that with some authority, in all my years of being involved in role playing games, either tabletop, LARP, or otherwise, even a bad GM, I've never seen somebody say, oh, I'm not going to let the scenario allow a female character to fight because girls don't fight. It doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't.
That would be funny though. She comes with this like custom built, warrior, and he's like, "That's great, sweetie. Now have your character get me a cup of coffee."
Yeah, it's just I don't know. I don't know what. Half of this is ideology, and I'm going to extend the benefit of the doubt and think that also part of this is some kind of weird bad experience she had with a decidedly maybe it was a GM who's as ideologically fueled as she is in some fashion. I don't know. That's just goofy.
I'm just going to.
Or she's just lying. That one could be the other one too.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
You're much nicer than I am, Scribe. I'm thinking it's 100% ideology.
Right.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
What I'm thinking is that this is just a bad DM who is incapable of telling even this fictitious story of a bad DM.
True.
Yeah. Possibly
Yes.
so, or it's somebody who like attended 2 or 3 different games, decided to inject or project a whole bunch of stuff onto it, and then decided to write an article knowing absolutely nothing about what she was talking about, which I could believe too.
Yeah, so if you're trying to be realistic and have female characters discouraged from being combatants, that's problematic because it discourages diversity. But also, if you don't discourage them, then you're ignoring real problems, which is problematic.
Yeah.
So the solution, just don't have any minorities whatsoever.
No, the solution is to not have this person in your game. The solution is to say
that's
this.
an even better one.
Yeah, you don't get to be in this game. Like if you become more of a problem for me as the GM than the stories I have to tell in real life, like no, I'm not here to be your therapist. I'm not here to be your. Everybody likes to have their little power fantasy. And everybody likes to have fun imagining or being able to plot. I mean, that's part of the freedom of the entire process is that you have, and I am going to use the phrase because it is applicable here, you have a safe space to imagine and simulate things and scenarios and actions that you would not take as a real person, but you can take through your avatar of a vampire or a ghoul or something else. And so you should have a sense of freedom to do that without a whole lot of judgment because as was printed on the old White Wolf books, I don't know if they have it on there anymore, games for mature minds was the expectation, is that you're coming into this with an understanding this is all fiction. Nobody's here to try to make you feel uncomfortable, but also you have to have a certain level of tolerance for the fact that this is a setting and has thematic elements of horror and of a mature nature. And if you're good for that and you're here to have fun, great, welcome, come in. Doesn't matter what you look like because your character can be whatever you imagine because that's part of the process. But this lady makes me sad. This lady reminds me of some of the elements that drove me away from being involved in my local gaming group, because this is the kind of stuff that made it no fun anymore.
Well, I can say as the weeb of the group that anime is currently in the midst of battling this exact sort of half-wittery itself.
Well, the fortunate thing for anime is that it's rooted in a culture that already inherently rejects this kind of thinking. So it already has a lot of allies on its side. Not to use allies, but I'm using allies in the right context here. So, so you have Eastern.
But the Americans. Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Oh no, I know. I understand. No, I understand. It's just that, the Western interpretation of anime is trying to take over and everything else, which is just going to make a very clear line of demarcation between the anime that people can actually enjoy and the anime they have to be wary of. Unfortunately, for like things like Vampire the Masquerade or Dungeons and Dragons or a lot of other IPs and such, they're completely originating in Western culture to begin with, and so now you have to do like Evolved Potato in the chat. He says, "What edition would you recommend to someone who wants to get into Vampire the Masquerade?" Well, see, here's the thing. You can draw the line of demarcation between what I consider to be good versus something that is questionable in editions. That's really it for things like this. So like for Dungeons and Dragons, anything before 5th edition is probably safer than 5th edition and forward. For Vampire the Masquerade, you want if you want old school good stuff, anything 3rd edition and some leftover 2nd edition stuff. But the farthest I would go is the 20th anniversary edition and no further. But really, if you can find a copy of 3rd Ed, you're fine. That's probably all you need. Anything from the 3rd Ed era. Or the clan books from the 2nd Ed era. The rules change a little bit, but it's all your game.
But I think that the big takeaway for me from all of this is that gatekeeping is important, at least for keeping out people like this who are trying to change the thing.
Yes.
And also the phrase should be kept in mind that games like this are for anyone, but they are not for everyone.
Right. Yeah. No. Yeah. Gatekeeping is good because you want to keep out the jerks, and that's it. It's not about what you look like. It's not about where you come from. It's about how you treat yourself and how you treat other people. If you come into the game expecting everybody and their brother to change everything to satisfy your particular needs, you're not going to be a productive player, and you're not going to be a player that anybody wants to work with, because the test for how someone is going to fit in with the group is whether or not they're there to have fun first and foremost, and to assist as much as you can into having other people have fun. If you're there to try to lecture people or criticize how somebody does something or whatever else, I mean, don't get me wrong. I've run games before in my early days of it, and afterwards I would ask people, what did you like? Is there something I could do better? Because I didn't assume myself to be infallible. You give people feedback and ideas and stuff. So yeah, sure. It's like, if I did something wrong, and I got called to the mat a couple of times in the course of a story of like, literally screwing something up. Like I forgot something or I made a bad call. It happens. Everybody's human. But as long as you can understand that and come back to the table after the fact and still have the intention of having fun, you weren't there to try to screw somebody over, great. But if you come in with some kind of diva attitude, I wouldn't let you in my game. I've had people come in trying to min-max their way into being an invincible, knowing-all type character. Like, oh, well, I have Eyes of Chaos as a Malkavian, so now you have to tell me what everybody's doing. And I'm like, no, I will give you abstract impressions of things, but I'm not going to hand you the answers to the problems. Because I want to instigate role play. I don't want to give you the solutions so you can metagame. Like if you're saying, oh, I just rolled 7 successes on my Eyes of Chaos roll, that means I know what everybody's doing. It's like, no, that means, according to the book, that you're staring off into space for a while, seeing visions of stuff. Go sit over there in the corner, and I'll tell you something in about 10 minutes. That guy really hated that part. And I'm like, he's like, well, why do you do that? Like, because that's what you'd be doing in real life as a Malkavian, looking off into space and looking like you're crazy because you're a freaking Malkavian. And you're trying to see the weaving of reality and chance and visions and everything else. And so if anybody comes up to you, you're going to play catatonic because it's called a role-playing game and you're playing the role of a catatonic Malkavian. And after I've had a few minutes to figure out what I'm going to tell you, and then you can interpret it, because here's the thing, signs and portents are exactly that. You don't get to, I don't hand you the answers. You have to, this is it. And who knows, maybe if I say, you see a vision of Denver, who knows what'll happen after that?
Yeah.
All right, and all right, since Scribe has to leave soon, we're going to
Oh, yes, sorry, yes.
we're going to do Poe or No next, and save Caption
okay.
Contest for last.
Fair enough.
Okay, so this is where I give you 3 genders, 2 of which are from the LGBTI wiki, meaning they're 100% real, and 1 I made up, and you have to figure out which one is made up. Alright, so gender A. Gender A. Short Furby gender. Gender related to short Furbies.
Naturally.
Self-explanatory, okay.
Alright, gender B. Roblox ban gender. Gender related to getting banned from Roblox. And gender C. Vacuum cat. Xenogender related to a cat in a vacuum, or a cat that can create a vacuum. Right. And
Or that could be Roblox Bang Ender.
Yeah.
Alright, and I'm gonna start a poll for the chat so they can get in on it, and don't forget one of the options is that they're all real.
You know, funny thing, I play a game where I'm a member of a clan called Long Furbies.
Oh, okay.
I'm not surprised.
No.
Alright, so Jack, which one are you going with?
Well, C sounds like the one you'd most make up, so I'm not going to go with C. I'm going to say they're all real.
Alright. And Johnny?
I am going to go with B.
Alright. And Terry?
I think you saw your godson and thought, that's a short-looking Furby kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, Scribe doesn't know, but I've been using my godson as inspiration for coming up with genders lately.
So I'm going A.
That sounds mildly creepy the way that you said that. I've been using my godson to come up with genders.
This kid's a gold mine.
Yeah. Okay, little Johnny. Now I want you to wear this outfit, and I'll come up with something.
But I don't wanna.
But I need the gender, Johnny.
You said this last time was the last time.
I got a show to put on, Johnny.
Bad touch, bad touch, bad touch.
Wear this mask, Johnny.
I gotta say, you do an uncannily good impression of me, Scribe. Let's see. Yeah, he's doing well, Keeve. He's actually at an amusement park right now, so he should be having like the time of his life.
The amusement park in my basement.
So, next week will be park gender. Will be the one that you think so.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Okay, so chat is going all real, followed by B. So let's see.
Oh, my pick was B, by the way, if it matters.
Oh, okay.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So I will end the poll there.
He got lost in character.
And no, I
Here's Johnny.
And no, I don't abuse my godson to come up with genders.
Little Johnny. It's Friday night, little Johnny. I got 4 genders to try on you.
No. He doesn't. Frosted doesn't abuse his godson. The godson enjoys it just as much as Frosted does.
All right, and the answer is
I gotta say, if there's ever another episode of Quippers ever again, it's gonna be an interesting one after this.
And the answer is C is fake.
Ah.
Vacuum Cat's fake, but Roblox band is real. Okay. I mean,
Yes.
well, okay. And when I say real, I'm
Yes.
being in relative terms here.
Really on the website.
None of this is real.
Yeah.
And,
Well, real means really on the website. He went to the website and there is a page for that gender.
These are real in the way wrestling is real.
Yeah.
Oh.
Alright, and let's take a look at the flags for the real ones. So, there's short Furby gender, which is one of the ugliest flags I've ever seen.
Come on.
And
Man, imagine marching with that.
Okay, go.
Somewhere in California, man.
Alright, and there's Roblox ban gender.
Roblox ban gender.
You can tell what demographic this are making up these genders, like what age group.
Yes.
I remember when Furbies were all the rage back in like elementary school.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I can't question ages like this, knowing that Chris Chan exists.
Fair enough.
Furbies and Tamagotchis.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember the Tamagotchis.
Mhm.
Oh, and speaking of which, Scribe, there was a Christine gender, which is based on Chris Chan.
I thought it'd be like about demonically possessed cars. I don't know.
Yeah, yes.
And Jack liked the flag and said he had a sweater that looked like it.
Yeah,
That's also true.
Yeah,
And he gives
I
up.
did.
All right.
Well, how do you expect me to respond, Frost?
All right. And we also have Porno Gender Edition Too Retarded for TV,
Yeah.
where we do a gender that's too retarded for you guys to think I made it up, but also too retarded not to share. And this week we have Royal Femme Mask Farrah Puppet.
sure.
Is that the full version of Royal Faggot?
No. And Royal Faggot is an actual gender that we've had, so it's okay to say. Yeah.
I'm not being bigoted. I'm just respecting alternate genders.
Yeah. All right. This is a xenogender, which is both feminine and masculine, and is related to being royalty, fairies, and puppies.
Naturally. What else would it be?
All right. And there's the flag. So there you go. All of the people who are royalty, fairies, and puppies in chat now can define themselves.
I'm just lucky that my gender was discovered early on. I've been 60 FPS plus gender for a while now.
Yeah. Well, as technology improves, you're gonna have 120 FPS genders.
Yeah, this is true. But fortunately, genders are fluid. I've learnt this, so it won't be a problem for me to adapt.
All right. So I don't know.
But you only go from 60 to 120 for about 2 seconds, and then it reverts back.
Yeah.
Because of those stupid NVIDIA genders who are throttling my gender.
Maybe you should switch to an AMD gender.
All right, so I think we're only going to have time for 3 articles, since
Yeah, I was thinking that from.
I got a split, unfortunately, guys. I'm sorry.
yeah. All right, that's fine.
Hi, Scribe.
Thanks
Yeah.
thanks for coming, Scribe. And
Sure
there's
thing.
actually one article that I also saved for you that we didn't have time for, but I'll DM it to you because I think you'll like it. It
Like it. Man.
because it involves that court case that you recently covered, the 901 about reverse discrimination.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah. So
All right.
and it covers the other side of that issue.
Oh, I'm sure it does. Well, nice to see everybody. Thanks to Keeverdam for being all den mothery in the chat. And Mike R. and Tyrannus and Delahazed and Kashal and DC Isaac and Delford Zero and Blue Eyed Scream and Angelverse and Rotten Corpse and who else do I see? Next 6 minutes and Evolve Potato and Green Badger Outdoors and Bad Dog Unlimited and anybody else. Colin Brohanan and Willett Forge. Hey, Willett Forge. And I hope I didn't miss anybody, but if I did, hope everybody has a good rest of their Friday and weekend ahead. And yeah, I still plan to do a Saturday show tomorrow afternoon. And that's all I got. Now I'm going to go. I have a previous engagement I got to get to, and then sleep because at some point I have to sleep. But thanks for having me on, guys.
No
See you,
problem.
Scribe.
See you
have a good
later,
weekend.
Scrub.
See ya.
All right,
You too.
see it. Okay.
And then there were 4.
Until
Yes. Yes, we should have that spot being filled soon.
yes, and my negrophobia will flare up as it always does.
Oh no.
And here is Scribe's evil brother, Scribe Dark.
Yes.
Scribe Dark, who is not as great a master of the English language
No.
as Scribe.
He is an English dropout.
Good.
Excuse me, I'm a scholar and a gentleman.
The greatest argument for the continued existence of English majors.
Cut out all of you.
He's a scholar. He has his GED.
Exactly.
I thought you were going to say environmental eugenic, not English degrees.
God damn it.
So,
Because I'm black, isn't it?
Yes,
So,
literally yes.
Thank you.
The
Thank you. I just
NEG
want
with the GED.
you down with GED? Yeah, you know me.
to- you know.
All right, so let's get to
Notorious GED.
Oh, y'all going to hell for this.
And
so,
Johnny get your Skillingbird sound clip on standby.
What? Huh? What was that? Silverberg?
all right,
Sorry.
so let's get to what is probably our last article, and
Microwave timer.
I guess we'll end on a caption contest.
That makes sense.
Yay.
All right. So now, why are you so political? Estranged parents.
Good.
What the fuck?
I'm certain we all know the real answer. And we've had this one before. Oceana Teppenfart.
Yes.
Yes.
Rather an unfortunate name.
Well, that's just how I like to pronounce it.
No, but her real name is unfortunate because it looks like what you're saying.
Why? Clearly she hates her parents because they gave her a fucking name like that.
Yes,
The parents don't choose her last name.
Yeah, they do.
they kind of do.
I mean, I suppose. Yeah, the parents actually have like the last name Smith. They just wanted to fuck with her.
Yeah.
We're actually Joneses, but she's a bitch, so Teppenfart.
Yeah, she keeps lecturing us about feminism, so fuck her.
Yeah, basically. No one else will.
And pictures in the chat.
Yes, Mike. I do have to do like yeah. That's why it's on the pre loadout. I know what I'm doing. I'm a professional.
She looks like she was just raised from the dead.
Yeah. Well, that's because of the article you just finished reading.
Lately, I've seen an uptick in estranged parents who are absolutely positively baffled by their adult children's behavior. And I've had at least 2 approach me in my day-to-day, asking me what they could have possibly done to prevent this sudden estrangement.
Yeah, you know what it was? Is that they had a normal, functional child, and then they sent them off to college, and the child came back with all this bullshit in their heads. and then all of a sudden
Yes.
they acted totally psychotic because they spent 4 years at a place that was conditioning them to behave as such.
Correct.
No, you are completely wrong, Jack. This is why you need a doctorate in feminist theory.
No. You need a doctorate in feminist theory, and then you need a minor in racial politics. Gotta have both.
No, Rachel's last name is Dolezal. Rachel Dolezal.
Okay. When I asked them the basics, whether their children brought up specific issues, whether their kids were cared for, whether or not they protected their children, it seemed fine. Everything stopped being fine when Trump became the talking point.
Mm-hmm.
As it turns out...
Everything changed when Trump entered office.
And then Trump took back office,
when
and the world was evil.
When the ICE Nation attacked.
When the MAGA Nation attacked, it was huge.
As it turns out, the writing was on the wall with these kids. One woman's son begged her tearfully to stop voting for people who are banning trans rights because he is a trans man.
Well, can't you just lie, though? Can't you just vote for Trump and say, oh, yeah, Kamala Harris, yeah, she got my vote.
Yeah,
you
totally.
convinced me. Okay, another is marrying an immigrant and feared for her husband's future.
Oh, no.
Well, she shouldn't have married an illegal then.
Pretty much.
And if they're not illegal, then they're afraid for no reason.
Yeah.
Both parents listened to their children pleading with them to stop supporting the GOP. They listened to all the evidence their kids gave them, showing how their lives would be negatively impacted if Project 2025 came to be.
No, I do like Project 2025.
Wait a minute. I hope that evidence is in air quotes because, yeah.
No, I
utter
mean,
bullshit.
no, you can go to project2025.com. It's a real website owned by Matt Walsh, and it does nothing but advertise his movies.
That's great. Matt Walsh has some stupid takes, but he is a pretty good troll sometimes.
He is.
Yeah.
He is.
He has his moments.
Yeah. Right. Stupid mic volume keeps changing on me. All right. Let's see.
Now you know.
And knowing is half the battle.
They told their children to stop being so whiny, and then voted for
Right.
Trump anyway. Now, both of these elder parents are shocked that their children decided to go no contact. They're playing football?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think the parents are
apparently.
glad.
I could wax poetic about how these two parents probably had plenty of missing reasons that made their kids run for the hills. But this article isn't about that. I'm certain these parents have plenty of the... This article is about pregnant Goku. Right.
Yeah.
Oh, God, no!
As all articles should be.
I'm certain these parents have plenty of those reasons, but that's a whole nother story. Okay, that's just an assumption based on nothing, but sure. All right.
Wait a
No.
minute, this woman's psychic. Look at her name, Asya Teppenfart. She can clearly see into the future. Look, you see that picture? That bitch is crazy, but crazy psychic.
This is about consequences, about patriotism, about family, and about the current dismantling of democracy.
Oh, no.
A dismantling that a large percentage of our country facilitated by voting in monsters. This is about reaping what you sow and taking personal accountability. The parents of...
So I already voted for Trump. Do you want me to vote for a 15th time? I mean, come on. This sounds fucking awesome.
I just like the idea of getting confused and is like voting for a monster and it's just a big furry blue guy shoving cookies in his face.
I'm Kamala's running mate.
Grab them by the cookie.
I will deport the illegals.
I have the
First
best
new cookie
cookies. Everybody loves my cookies.
Cookie tax for everybody. Everybody pays for my cookies.
Me love cookies. Me love the ignorant cookies. Me love Mexican cookies.
Everything is cookie. The parents of both adult children were told, in no uncertain terms, that Trump's promises were matters that would seriously threaten their futures. These people beg...
Look, I'm just going to say it like this. These people are fucking insane. You can't... If you look at what's happening in the past 8 years, the 4 years that Trump was in charge, we kind of had great shit. We was on the fast track to be even better. And then we got the whoring, the pedo. And shit just went downhill fucking fast.
You don't remember his first term where he genocided all the transes? And now he's going to do it again?
Well, y'all remember Frosted. I had my Nazi uniform pressed, and I was out there goose-stepping, helping. So, I was there. It was glorious.
They're told in no uncertain terms that Trump's promises were matters that would seriously threaten their futures. These people begged their own family to do something that actually is the bare minimum to be expected of a family member, to prioritize family safety over a politician's success. When it comes to relationships, actions matter. This is true for small actions, such as putting dishes in the sink or cleaning up after yourself. It's also true of bigger actions, such as choosing political platforms that will benefit your children and your children's children.
Huh, so Medium is just an online journal.
Yeah, of course.
It's daddyissues.com.
It is.
If you're a parent and you voted for Trump, you put Trump over your child's future. That's the blunt truth of it. Nothing in...
Sucks to be you.
Nothing in the GOP's platform features anything positive for children who are living in the USA. Nothing.
So
let's
clearly giving them a future. Yeah.
Let's talk about abortion then. All right. This party doesn't even want to offer free lunch to starving kids. You can't sit there and say that you're concerned about your child's future and vote for the GOP. Logically, it doesn't make sense. All the GOP runs on is the idea of me first, a dash of hate, followed with telling people to not support anyone but themselves and billionaires.
Good.
Man, she can read us like a book.
I know. It's clear. Like, shit. We gotta up our racism.
A lot of people, both young adults and children, realized what the GOP was going to do to this country. They also begged their parents to put their wishes first, because this election would have major consequences.
No, it wouldn't.
Unfortunately, parents who voted for Trump decided that they are more loyal to Trump than their own families. Their children saw that firsthand, and this was a major boundary for them. So
I'm sorry, but the children left. The children are the one that left. Not the parents. The parents didn't leave the children. I guarantee you, if the children went back to those parents tomorrow, the parents would welcome them back.
Well, no,
Simple as.
But those parents are a danger to the children because they voted wrong.
They can only come back if they stop posting on Medium.
Oh, God, no! What will they do? Oh, Jesus! That's crap. That's too much.
What a gaslighting piece of shit! Just honestly,
Look,
the children are the ones that left, not the other way around. You need to realize that because you're lying right now. You're just
I got one better for
lying.
you. If you're willing to disown your family over politics, there's something wrong with you. No, seriously, there's something clearly wrong. You are the problem in this equation because you view politics is more important and above family loyalties.
They wouldn't have to disown their parents if their parents just voted right, Tier.
Well, I'm sorry. You know, not everybody is a sheep and can be herded onto the plantation.
Yes, we call those people evil bigots, and they need to be, forcibly corrected so they adopt the right way of thinking.
Re-educated.
There you go. That's a good point.
To quote Rachel Zegler, we have to love them in the right direction. Mhm.
I don't want to know what direction that is.
Probably the one that got her on Snow White. That's the direction, I guess.
Unfortunately, parents who voted for Trump decided that they are more loyal to Trump than their own families. Their children saw that firsthand, and this was a major boundary for them. So their kids are acting accordingly. They've decided that their parents are a threat to their existence because their parents prefer to usher in an authoritarian state rather than to help their kids get financial stability, medical care, equal rights, or a feeling of security from Uncle Sam.
You are everything that's wrong with America right now.
Yeah, you are.
Are you talking about the author for being a raging lunatic or Tier for being black?
Both.
A little from column A, a little from column B.
That is literally the joke from Austin Powers. There's two things I hate. It's people who don't
People
respect
who are intolerant of other people's cultures, and the Dutch.
and the blacks.
Yes.
Well, I hate the blacks too. Niggers.
Thankfully, old-fashioned GOP values might be of use to these parents right now. The GOP always touts itself on being the party of personal accountability. So why not take some accountability, Mom and Dad? But why does it have to be a mom and dad? Huh? That's
Why can't it be two moms? Why can't it be two dads? Why can't it be Zzer and Zimzat?
Because she grew up in a straight family.
No, but because she's not talking to black people. That's why she mentioned her dad.
Okay. You're right. Didn't think about that.
You made
Suburban white family.
You made the decision to put Donald Trump above your children's future because he made you feel so big and strong and bad.
Bad to the bone.
Let's not bring strong bad into this. If you
all I know about Strong Bad is he was in a pretty bad series of games.
Yeah. If you voted for Trump, everything you're seeing in the news right now is your fault.
Good.
Yeah, great. I'm happy with about 70% of it. Yeah.
Yeah. You know how many times I've watched the riot footage of them getting their asses beat?
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. All right.
Me too.
If you voted for Trump and your children warned you that this would be unforgivable, their estrangement is on your hands. If you voted for Trump, you damn well better deal with the fact that some people are going to treat you like a monster, because to them, what you did was monstrous.
Oh, we're well aware. We're well aware that they're going to treat us like monsters because we also understand that they have the IQ of a wombat.
And
hey, don't be insulting wombats. Those things are cute.
And by the way, people who are to the right of center, we're used to being treated like monsters by you guys, and that's part of the reason we voted for Trump.
Honestly, I've been called far more racial things because I'm a Trump supporter by people who black people need defending. Okay, I'm black. You're
by the way,
racist. Stop hating black men. Okay.
The left, which has like carte blanche over wanting to kill literally everyone who disagrees with them. They're the people who have the so-called emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do like the phrase, the black face of white supremacy. That is a real phrase.
Larry Elder. It was for Larry Elder, and they called him the black face of white supremacy.
They did.
I was called a black white supremacist before by a coworker.
Yeah.
It's like we know you guys hate us. That's one of the reasons why we vote the way we do.
Yes.
But then again, you hate literally everything. You just hate everything. You hate yourself. You hate the people that you claim to represent. You hate everyone who disagrees with you. You literally hate everybody. So what's the point of agreeing with you if you're just gonna hate us anyway?
No, see, I don't think they hate. They hate themselves, and because they hate themselves, they need to project that upon the planet. They're like vampires. You know, they need to feel good about themselves, so they leech. You know, oh well, this is the whole planet's fucking shit, but I can save it.
From
You
Denver?
know, yes, in Denver, but I can save it. You know, I'm a good person. I'm a moral person. I'm one of the good ones. Fuck you. I don't want to be one of the good ones. I just want to be left the fuck alone.
They hate everything about their mother, and they hate your daddy's guts too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I want to see how many,
Your boobs mean nothing.
I want to see how many
what you
people
can.
get that reference.
Ugly Kid Joe.
Yeah.
It's, I hate everything about you.
Yeah. Okay. If you voted for Trump, please admit to being fine with kids being deported while they get cancer treatment. Families being ripped apart.
Fine with that.
Families being ripped apart.
Fine with that.
Oh, ceiling bird.
What's Homan, the guy?
Tom Homan.
Families can be deported together.
Yeah, see, there you go.
Man, I love that guy.
Yeah, he's great.
I love that guy too. The way he delivered that line was so cold. It was beautiful.
2028 Vance Homan.
Yes.
Okay. Families being ripped apart, women dying of childbirth, and education being stripped. Just say it out loud. Admit you love the cruelty.
I love the cruelty.
I love the cruelty.
Your tears are so delicious.
Apparently, we're more one-dimensional than like Captain Planet villains.
Yeah.
By our powers combined.
Yes, let's
We
kill.
are the GOP.
Let's kill more children with cancer.
And let's make more women die in childbirth. Come on, guys. We can do it.
The thing is that we can admit that the left is making an argument because we can contest that argument very easily because it's a stupid argument. They cannot admit that their opposition has an argument because then they'd have to argue against it, which they cannot do.
Yeah.
So they have to basically pretend that we're some sort of abstract evil, like the big planet thing from The Fifth Element.
Yeah. Didn't they find that like right wingers understand left wingers?
Yes,
argument
they did.
much more than
Yes.
left wingers understand ours.
Yes, correct.
Well, it's the problem with that is like we're more willing to entertain and try to find some good in their argument. Like honestly, some of these, I don't want to destroy the planet. So maybe reducing a few things that we do, maybe that's a good idea. However, our entire position is fucking poison to them. They can't get on board with anything. Oh, maybe we shouldn't be aborting shit ton of kids. But that's fine, you just want women to die. No, I want a shit ton more kids being born than being aborted.
Because like the average person who's left of center, I could give a general idea of like what they believe and why. You know, maybe not exactly, but you know, I'm not going to assume that they just love cruelty.
But yeah, remember.
I mean,
too,
maybe the leftist politicians, but not just the average left of center person.
Frosty, I realized something. You can look at their hair color and tell exactly what they believe.
Yeah,
Like, just look at the hair color.
If there's more than one hair color, you can tell what they believe.
Yeah, see?
Do not try to hold other people accountable for your actions. Don't whine and ask why kids are so mean and so political these days. Everything has been politicized because people like Trumpers are voting to take away human rights.
One right taken away. Just one. Not one right being taken away.
The right to slaughter innocent babies before they're born.
The right to throw rocks at people.
Yeah.
God damn it! That's one of my favorite. rights. That should have not voted for Trump anymore.
Come on now, buck up, buttercups. Show some personal accountability for what you ushered into office. What fresh hell you've put your kids through. And what your selfishness brought to the country you claim to love. I genuinely hope Donald Trump, who doesn't even know who you are, was worth it. If you voted
Yes.
Remember, so remember, if your child throws a hissy fit as an adult, that means that everything you've ever thought in your life was wrong.
Yeah, I think I might be the only person here who didn't vote for Trump.
I think you are.
I'm sure someone voted for Kamala in your name, Terry.
Yeah, probably.
You have 41 viewers 40 viewers watching now. I'm sure that one of them voted for Kamala, maybe, possibly.
See, hold on. I can believe that. They must have been really high. They got drunk before, and the words on the screen started getting really blurry as they were looking at it. They just started pressing randomly and voted for Kamala.
If you want to fess up in the audience that you voted for Kamala, don't worry. We'll only harass you and make sure that your life is a living hell.
Yeah, I'll make the banning quick.
Yeah.
Della, admit your sins, Della. We'll forgive you in time.
All right, let's see. If you voted for Trump and regret it, it's time to do something about it.
Nope, don't regret it at all.
Are you an adult parent who is embarrassed about what you voted for? Good. You might actually be able to redeem yourself. Here's how. Now I'm just thinking of the South Park Naggers episode where Randy has to kiss Jesse Jackson's ass.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, kiss good.
Yeah. Number 1, admit you made a mistake. Tell your kids.
No.
Apologize.
That's the worst thing you can do.
Never give in to the mob. They don't want your apology. They want your submission.
Mm-hmm.
The moment you give them an ounce of flesh, they're gonna want the entire body.
Your child is no longer your child. They're effectively a zombie, and you have to treat them as such.
They're an NPC.
Yeah.
Tell your kids, apologize to others, and be open about it.
Nope.
Number 2, stop watching Fox, OANN, and other right-wing sources. If you
Be indoctrinated by our sources. Read our books and literature.
Isn't it amazing that these people can't even admit that the sources they default to all the time are left-wing?
And also...
we know that these sources are right-wing. They don't realize that CNN is left-wing.
And also, I rarely, if ever, use any of those sources.
None whatsoever.
See, CNN is centrist, Jack. Don't you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Clinton News Network. Got it.
If anything, they're right-wing. If you went full Q, stop that too. Join subreddits for things like r/xredpill, r/re-Qovery, and r/QAnon casualties.
Man,
Yes.
that was real clever. That recovery. Yeah, wow. That's amazing.
Realistically, how many people were actually in QAnon?
I don't know. The only time,
Like 3?
the only people I've
Maybe
ever
4.
The only people I've ever heard mention Q or QAnon are left-wingers.
Yes,
Yeah.
Because they need a boogeyman.
I don't think I've ever seen an actual self-proclaimed member of QAnon.
I don't even know what they believe.
No,
You gotta remember something.
It's
QAnon-
like Project 2025. There is, even if there was a thing that they believed, we wouldn't know it anyway.
We gotta remember something. QAnon came about around the time that Jordan Adler said that Antifa was a myth. It's a boogeyman. They're a myth. Yeah, it's an idea.
I just love, if there's one place where you can learn and grow as a person, it's Reddit.
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
That's cesspool.
3. Promise to stop voting for and supporting fascism.
Keep that promise.
Done. Done. Like, hold on. I will agree to that one. Done. Because I will never vote for a Democrat ever fucking again.
There you go.
Keep that promise too.
Good. Plan 2.
Number 4. Do not ask others for help when your vote hits you. There, I said it. Your pleas for help won't be coming off as sincere if the only...
There, I said it. The same thing I've been saying this entire fucking article.
Yeah.
They want you to suffer. They want you to suffer for the crimes you have committed by thinking differently.
Yeah.
No, all right. So this shit is the what do they call it? The flagellants that walk around whipping themselves. That's what they want you to do. They want you to walk around just constantly saying, "I'm sorry for voting for Trump. I didn't know what I'm doing. Please, I'm a terrible human being." Just flogging yourself.
Yeah, they want you to be
my black.
They want you to be like the guys from Monty Python's The Holy Grail, where they're chanting and smacking themselves with wooden boards.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Guess what? You. Sorry.
Yeah, it's a religion. You have to, yeah, like Green Badger says, you have to confess your sin and seek absolution, you know.
Yeah. I'm sorry, but you want me to suffer for having a thought in my brain? Well, guess what? I want you to suffer, asshole. Why don't you suffer? Go to prison.
I want you to suffer, asshole. What Jack says on date night.
I want your asshole to suffer.
Like the company slogan of Taco Bell. I want you to suffer, asshole.
Number 4. Okay, yeah, it won't be coming off as sincere if the only way you've changed is when you're personally affected. This is a moment you need to show you really mean what you say when you say you're done with being a Trumper. Number 5. Understand that you've done damage. It will take some time to actually recover from this. Speaking as an adult child, I believe that part.
Speaking as an adult child.
Whose family voted red. Your best bet is to let your children lead with how much they are willing to put faith in you.
Well, you know what? I'm going to do the author a favor. I'm going to promise that no one will ever vote for Trump as president again. I don't think...
I can promise that too. I think I can say that with already declared a statement. No one will ever vote for Trump again because they can't run.
Terry, I'm not going to make that promise.
Yeah.
I mean, assuming he doesn't run again, I'm sure there will still be people writing him in.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, I might write him in whenever I see whoever the whenever I see whoever the Republican Party puts up next, because it's not going to be Vance. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in my state, where since it's a blue state, there's some like local offices where like there's only one person running and it's a Democrat. So I just write in like a friend or family member.
Yeah.
So
there's like Monkey voting for Lady Monkey when he doesn't like any of the candidates.
Yeah. So
I have a problem. See, I'm a red man in a sea of blue.
Yeah. So
no, you're a black man. Johnny is the red man.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, so as I said in the Discord on election day, if Terry or Jack had won some kind of office, you're welcome.
Yes.
Who the hell is Jack Gunsky, and why is he the only person that got a vote in this district?
A furry sheriff?
Hold on, wait a minute. It worked in Blazing Saddles.
Oh my
god.
This town ain't big enough for the both of us.
Where are all the white foxes at?
Hold on now. The sheriff is a freaking. He's at the sheriff's smear.
It will take some time to actually recover from this. Speaking as an adult child whose family voted red, your best bet is to let your children lead with how much they are willing to put faith in you. Well, considering how much they want me to go through, I'm not sure they put faith in me.
They want you to suffer.
My kids aren't leading me as shit.
Yeah. let your children lead the way when it comes to how they let you back into your life. While voting against
Hold on, wait a minute, wait. Read that last part again. How they let you back into your life? What the fuck? Don't need to edit it that clearly.
let your children lead the way when it comes to how they let you back into your. Oh, so you go back into your life.
Exactly. You saw it. You finally saw it.
Man,
I, for one, believe the children are our future.
I got kicked out of my own life. I don't even know how that happened. All right. While voting against your child's interests is pretty despicable, most will forgive you as long as you start working to be part of the change our society needs.
No.
And yes, Jackie's right. He does cook it as a pizza.
Go.
Is that the author?
Yes.
Smash.
You need higher standards, tier.
He does. He really.
Chubby and white. Those are the two weaknesses.
All right, so I think
And crazy too.
I think we'll finish up with the caption contest, where I show a photo of a political figure event, and the chat has to come up with a caption for it, and whichever one we like best, I'll tweet out after the show. And this week we have good old Greta being given a sandwich by the Israelis. This picture just has the same energy as the photo of Joe seeing the Easter Bunny.
Yeah. I've been on this boat for 2 days with these activists, and all they talk about is vegan this, vegan that. I want some fucking real meat.
I make it a sandwich. Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, the tweet that Israel put out making fun of her, it was just it was perfect.
Why does she have a green froggy hat on?
I didn't see that one.
Sit right back and hear a tale.
Yes. I do like that one.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
At last, real food. Yeah, they were just like making fun of her for it being just some publicity stunt, essentially.
I'm off to get some noodles toodles.
Was this made in Denver? Yeah. Vote for me for Prince of Denver.
No.
Yeah, and like, didn't they eat some of the food that they brought?
They brought like 10 pounds of shit and like ate a pound of it. And they like brought like fucking flour, probably vegan flour.
And also, it was like such a small boat. They probably filled it with like one trip to the grocery store.
Yeah, I know.
But they're gonna save Gaza, guys. That ship is full of hopes and dreams, and they're gonna storm blockade.
It was symbolic. It was symbolic. It was not meant to be actual aid. It was meant to symbolize fighting against oppression or some bullshit.
Yeah, I'm gonna go through the Burger King drive-thru and then head to Gaza.
Yeah.
I say this now. I'm honestly glad that she did not get into Gaza. I take that back because I do want her ruining their gene pool.
Let's see. Was this made in Denver? No, I think I did that one.
These guys think.
Little girl, should you be here? Is that sandwich halal? Downsy want a sandwich?
You gotta say it cutesy.
Downsy want a sandwich?
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Yes, you do.
Is this sandwich vegan? Let's see. These guys stink. These guys stink. Get me off the boat.
I like Will Sackman better.
We all float down here. I brought a snack for the gangbang. Yeah, do the picture of her on the couch surrounded by a bunch of big Israelis.
Yeah. I do like
Okay,
the
Ryan gets my
report. He
vote.
says message retracted. I think that's an excellent caption.
Hey, we get that like every week.
I
Yeah.
know.
Jack.
That still is a funny one, though.
All right, that's it, Jack. You're out of my life.
Willing for fetal alcohol syndrome of the cruise. Damn it.
We're gonna all ride this wave. You gotta be kidding me.
Oh.
I like puns, and I think that's terrible.
I might vote for that just to spite the universe.
Yeah.
Right, how dare you?
Just wait until they smell it. Yeah, how dare you? All right, I'll give it another few seconds.
Well, you're a close second with getting off this vote, but god damn it, rotten. And fetal alcohol syndrome, yeah, but fucking rotten. Brother snaps to the gangbang.
Does this mean I won't be getting married?
Good.
Gilligan, the Netflix adaptation. If he only knew what I did to that.
Good.
Dinner and snack, thank Allah. All right, so I think I'll stop there. All right, so what are you guys going with?
I'm going to go with Jack Gunsky's very first one. I cook it a pizza.
All right, that's it. No, I am banning any answer that has cooka in it.
Okay, how about I bake it a pizza?
Let's see,
Fucking Luigi.
Was the one?
Well,
Okay,
I will go with Danzy won a sandwich.
it's either that or fetal alcohol syndrome, I think. Jack, what are you going with?
I like to sit right back and you'll hear a tale.
Oh yeah. I mean, she's wearing the Gilligan hat and everything.
Yeah.
All right, Johnny.
Yeah, I went with
Downs, you want a sandwich?
Danzy won a sandwich. Yeah.
Terry.
I'm going with the Gilligan one. Same one Jack voted for.
Tier.
60. Gilligan's the next adaptation.
Let's see. Well, I think it doesn't really matter what I pick because it looks like the Gilligan one wins. So let's see, where was
Which one would you pick, Frosted?
He would pick I cook it a pizza. We all know it.
Yeah.
He's just mad that he didn't think of it first.
I'd like to tell you what I'd pick, but it's hidden because the person got timed out.
Thanks for hate when that happens.
All right, guys, I'm gonna have to
Hey,
jump off.
for the record, I submitted that caption before the contest even began.
I know.
Guys, I'm gonna have to jump off. All right, it was
All
fun
right.
hanging with you guys for even briefly.
Yeah.
So let me
See ya.
Yeah, Tier's
See
gonna
you
be
guys.
doing a midnight show later, so go check.
No,
that out.
I'm gonna be doing Minions of the Zoo right now.
Oh, yeah, that's Saturdays.
Okay.
Yeah, I forgot.
Yeah.
See you later, Tier.
All right, yeah,
See
ya.
you.
Okay, now we can start the show for real. Now the troublemaker's gone.
Yeah, all right.
All right. Article
There
1.
for the next 3 hours.
Elon Musk. All right. Oh, okay, now I can't find it. Where was it? The
3 hours of Cat Congress.
Yes.
The Cat Congress will never end, ever.
I wish we had more Cat Congress.
So do I.
Who did the sit right back one?
That was
I
James.
think it was
Bad dog.
Oh.
I don't
Okay, yeah.
understand why you didn't know that. You didn't ban him.
Yeah.
That's because he's a good boy.
No, he's a bad dog.
Okay, so it looks like James wins this week. All right.
Congratulations, James.
All right. So I think, I mean, technically that's not all I have for tonight, but we're out of time. So
We're past time, actually. Yes.
yeah.
Fast
We are
touch.
very much past time.
All right. So take a moment to shill my co-host and guest. Oh, my guest is gone. All right.
Yeah.
And let's see. So Jack has Games with Terry on his channel Sundays at 7 p.m. Eastern. And which game are you doing now?
I don't fucking
Whispered World, isn't it?
I don't fucking know. That's a
Yeah, the Whispered World. That one with the faggy
Sad with the
clown.
gay clown.
Is that the sequel?
Whose
to the
name is
last one?
Sadwick. No, it's its own standalone tale. At least I pray it is.
We know there's going to be a Gorf at some point. There just has to be.
It's gonna be a fucking Gorf again.
Yeah, you guys pick the games. You can pick good ones if you like.
There are no more good ones. We played the good ones. There are no more good adventure games.
You don't have to
the
just do
few-
adventure.
But that's the format, asshole.
All right. We'll do.
You don't
Super
just
Seducer.
have to read Medium. You know that, right? You
No,
don't just have to read Medium.
I think we take his advice on board. Super Seducer is the next game we play.
All right. Okay. Johnny, anything you want to shill?
Minions on Tuesdays.
All right. And
That's it.
since Moon's not here, I'll shill his Twitch channel linked in the description where he plays games on Orcas Super Seducer.
Hmm.
All right. Terry is on Hammer's Minions Nights. He's also on Games with Terry.
Yeah.
He's on Mr. Adams streams, and
Yep.
I think that's it.
Trying to think. I think that's everything. Yeah. Games with Terry, Hammer, and Adam. Yeah, that's everything.
All right.
No, it's just Games with Terry. No Hammer Adam.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jack has an exclusivity deal.
Yeah, true.
You can't do any other projects.
I have Terry on contract for the next 1,000 years.
I own you.
Yes. And the only condition is no darkies.
All right. And so we should be back next week at the usual time, Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern. And next week will be the day after Juneteenth, guys.
Ooh.
Oh,
Ooh.
golly.
The dumbest name for a holiday ever.
Yeah.
I know.
All
Fuck
right.
came up with that. That's a retarded fucking name.
All right. So we'll see you guys next week.
See you guys.